It was just about a year ago we were out in California to drive the latest generation of the Prius. Now we're back out here in California to drive the first riff on the Prius. It's the plug-in Prius, which they're calling the Prime. The last generation had a range of a whopping 7 miles in the real world. This one, it does much better than that. But how's the rest of the vehicle? That's what we're going to find out here today on Rumblestrip.NET and 10-Minute Test Drive. There's some obvious styling differences between the Prius Liftback and the Prius Prime. There are these overlays on the grille which clean up the front end, and they've taken Mirai styling cues with the headlamps and the DRLs. It cleans it up overall and gives the front end a much more put together look. The unique styling on the Prius Prime continues in the rear as well. Where in the liftback version they had vertical taillights, here they have horizontals, although there is a vertical accent light on the corners as well. The other unique styling element here is this double bubble rear window. It aids in aerodynamics, or so they say. It has a different look. You don't see any distortion though from the driver's position as you're looking back, which is good. The other unique thing to the Prime is that the rear liftgate is made out of carbon fiber, at least the frame is. It saves 8 pounds in weight. Now, is that really worth 8 pounds to put carbon fiber? I guess it doesn't matter because Toyota and Lexus have their own carbon fiber loom. On the road, the Prius Prime continues to do many of the things that the standard liftback does well. The ride is very good. The noise inside the cabin is very quiet, especially when you consider the last generation Prius. The difference between last gen Prius and this gen is absolutely huge. The change in the rear suspension to an independent rear suspension again carries through, not only in ride compliance, but how well it handles through some of the twisty bits here. Now, this being a plug-in vehicle, it does have a battery pack out back. It's larger than the last one. It's going to weigh a little bit, approximately 220 pounds, but we'll annotate the correct number here if that's not. And at times you do feel that weight out the back compared to the standard liftback. You'll notice it if you have to drive through a lot of curvy roads. You notice it on roads that maybe have a lot of undulation where you get a little bit of bounce. You feel a little bit of weight in the back, that little bit of extra weight. But if you've never driven the standard liftback, you may not notice that. So maybe it's not an issue for you. Steering is actually very good on this. It is an electric steering unit, as you would expect in this vehicle, but the feel of it is good. I mean, you're not getting a ton of feel through, but it's very directional. So as you turn the wheel, you feel you get that much steering input in as well. So that is excellent. And again, that continues from the liftback. Now, we did drive this in EV only range. We did just under 22 miles, and we had some room to spare with that. So we feel that Toyota's range estimate of 25 miles is very accurate. And this wasn't putting along at just road speed or surface road speeds. We got up to highway speeds. We hammered it a few times to get it up and past, theoretical speed limits of that area. We did not test it if the EV cut off at about 84 miles an hour and then kicked in the gas. We did not go that fast because the posted speed limits did not allow us to. In electric mode, it's actually pretty good. It's not blindingly fast, not that you'd expect it to be, but it has enough get up and go. You can feel the torque of the electric motors working, and up to about 50-55 miles an hour, it feels very good. From 55 on, you can feel the way that the electric motor is geared to the wheels. It starts to run out of breath a little bit, and once you get to about 70, the acceleration isn't done, but it's essentially done at that point. But if you're driving around town or even getting up on the freeway or a quick freeway jaunt, being in EV mode, not a problem. Rear seat room in this is good. As the seat is adjusted for us at 5'11", we can sit comfortably behind us, legroom wise. Headroom, we're kind of at the limit. We have a little bit of headroom there. You know, kind of about this much of a gap between the head and the headliner. So 6 foot is probably about the limit back there before you start hitting your head on the liner. The seat comfort is not bad, but there are only 2 seats in the back. So the liftback is a 5-seater. This is only a 4-seater, so please keep that in mind. One of the cool items in the system here with the touchscreen is that there are built-in points of interest for charging stations, and you can even select whether it's a level 1 or a level 2. So you can set those so you know within your driving range where they are, and it actually will show you a bubble of where the charging stations are within your leftover electrical driving range, that's a nice touch. In the interior, it's pretty much the same thing. Now, of course, the obvious change in the top 2 trim levels is this 11.7-inch display, and again, we will continue to go into that in depth in a few minutes. But this particular version with the Moonstone interior has the white trim bits. Still not a fan of it a year later. It looks a little too out of place, I guess. It's plastic. You have to wonder how well it's going to wear over time. I'm sure there's good UV coatings on it so it doesn't fade or yellow, but it looks good in the short term. How well it lasts in the long term, I guess we'll have to wait and see. So the big news in this one, of course, is this 11.7-inch touchscreen display. It's very good. It's very bright, relatively intuitive, but it is missing a few things. There are no physical knobs, so there's no physical volume knob. There's no physical knob to, say, tune to a different station, whether you're AM, FM, XM, give it a name. There is a touch interface for volume, also for menu and home. Now, the longer we go into this, we find touchscreen not the best solution, because knobs and buttons you can reach, and it's very tactile. For a touch interface, you usually have to be very precise on where you do touch, and that takes your attention and vision away from the road. This one, it's not bad, but as you're driving along on, maybe not a bumpy road, but a road that's got some undulations in it, you catch your hand kind of doing this, trying to get to a specific spot. This is the top shelf model, so it does have not only the 11.7 display, but it has the JBL audio in here. It's pretty good. It's not, say, a Mark Levinson that you're going to get in a Lexus or super high-end, but it's a system, and it definitely sounds better than the standard system. We've sampled both. So one note we do need to make is that the batteries do intrude a little bit in the cargo area. Without having a standard liftback to compare it to, it can't really say what the difference is in height, but going off a recollection of not only in our initial drive, but also when we had the liftback for a week, there is a visible difference in the liftgate area, where in the standard liftgate liftback model, we were able to put, stacked of course, inside of each other, 3 55-gallon tubs and 2 32-gallon tubs, and with the back seat folded down, stuff them all in and close the hatch. In this one, that wouldn't be possible. The floor height is, maybe it's a couple inches higher. Again, can't say, but again, noticeably different, and that's where we would not have been able to do that. The Prius Prime is an interesting use case. Is it better than the liftback? Well, if you drive less than, say, 25 miles to work and you can plug in and keep it all on electric range, sure, it probably does make some sense. But you do have the Volt, which has now a 50-mile range. Granted, it costs $6,000 to $7,000 more. On the other hand, you have the standard Prius liftback, which can get high 50s and low 60s without too much of an effort. So which is better for you? Again, I think it's a very specific use case. This is overall very good. It's a good riff on the liftback. It does have some issues. It does have some limitations. But I think this is a very individual choice when it comes to should you buy this. You know, one of these days you really should bullet point all the points you want to make so you aren't sitting here going, oh, what do I need to say next?